Welcome back. Now we finished texturing the ceiling, so what you want to do is let it dry, and once it's dry, as I said earlier, you want to scrape off any of the excess little chunks that may have happened while you were doing your texture. So once you get those off, then if you've got any splatters like you see here down on the wall over here, just very easy, just take it right off, just comes right off. If there is any little excess or whatever, it is water soluble, so you can just wipe it right off with some water so you don't have to worry about, sanding to get a lot of dust in the air and everything. It just comes right off, very easy. One thing you do want to make sure that you do is put down a drop cloth. Now you can use an old sheet. If you've got an old sheet, you're trying to cut costs. You don't want to go out and spend the money for an expensive drop cloth. You can get either a plastic one, we got this for $2, or you can use an old sheet. Again, it is water soluble, so you can wash it and it'll come right out. So it's no problem with that. So you want to get right into the corners, like this. So there's a little bit of excess here. Scrape that right off there. And you want to go around your entire room like that. Again, as we talked about earlier, you want to scrape your walls to make sure you get all the bumps and any jagged marks or anything like that on. And then that way it'll be ready for painting. Then what you want to do is take some caulking and go around the corners, around the ceiling, like this, going all the way around, and then also down in the corners of your walls. Now this helps a lot, especially if you're going to be doing two different kinds of paint on the wall, because then that way when you cut it in, you'll be able to have a nice clean line going up, and you won't have any jagged corners or anything like that when you're doing this. Then you want to take your finger, go in the corner, and just go all the way down. This gets it all right down, right into the corners, makes it really nice and clean. And then do the same along the top of your ceiling as well. Again, as you can see, it gives it a nice clean effect here versus here. Okay? Then the other thing you want to do is when you're prepping now for your paint, is you want to go in any of the corners, dig out any excess paint or anything that might be cracked along here, and go around your base moldings down here as well, and your casing, and make sure that you wipe your casing down. And it's always good to vacuum, of course, along the corner if you have carpet still in your room. And that way you get this all out, wipe it down. Then get your caulking. Again, just like we did in the corner and the ceiling, look how this gives it a nice clean effect. And again, it'll give you a nice cut in for your paint, and then go along your baseboards. And again, do it all the way around the room. Take your finger, cleans it all up nicely. And then up here, you just go down like you do in the corners of your drywall and your ceiling. See how nice and clean that leaves it? Again, it'll give you a nice clean cut in. And that's it. Once you finish that, then what you want to just do is pick out your colors, your paints, and then go from there. And then we're going to do this wall a little bit darker and this wall a little bit lighter, and the ceiling we're going to do in an off-white. Now what you can do is, again, like I said, you can get your primer tinted to match your trim if you want, and then that way you don't have to do a primer coat and then do your paint on top of it. You can just do a couple of coats, and that's it. So our next scene, we will have this room pretty much painted. Stay tuned.